Hi, in this video, I show you how to create the class dataset and how to download the public dataset that we'll be using, which will be the ECHLS-K or the Early Childhood Longitudinal Study Kindergarten Cohort, and trimming it down to the class dataset. The instructions for this have been made available online, so you can just follow the written instructions and skip this video. It should look like this. Basically, you go to the NCS website where the ECHLS-K data are. You want to go down to the section where it says ECHLS-K Kindergarten 8th grade public use file. Just download all of these files in the user manual section, which is useful to read through. The child catalog, because we'll be using child level data. But you can also use you can download these two and then apply a similar process to sort of have a more comprehensive data on teachers and schools. Anyway, so it's once you've downloaded these, make sure to also download the two data files. You don't need the SPSS or SAS unless you're a SAS or SPSS user. And this should mostly be sort of the files that you download. You have to unzip this file. It's straightforward for Windows users, but for Mac users, you may have to install a separate program. I used a program called Unarchiver, sort of the regular unzipping program. Archive utility didn't work. So this is how I did it. In the end, you should end up with this .dat file, which is the data file. You'll need to make two edits to the two data files that you downloaded, which is the .do file, the .dct file, which stands for dictionary. So if you open up the do file, this line in line 4 is probably going to have C:/ /ECHLS-K, whatever. And you just want to make sure that the folder portion leading up to this here is your working directory. So for Mac users, you could just make sure that you just go to the file in your working directory and copy the address, right? Which is this that I've copied over here. You need to make an update in 2 more locations. I think these were the right line numbers. But let me look for call you, which is specific. So make sure the directory, the folder portion, has been updated to your working directory. You can save it. Make sure you also go to the dictionary file, which you should open up with a text editor of some kind, and update line 1 to make sure that it's also referring to your working directory so that the DAT file that it's calling is in the right location. So once you make those 2 updates, it's pretty easy. Open up Stata, and you'll likely require Stata SE or Stata MP because it's a very large data set and a smaller Stata package isn't able to handle them. So you want to set max var to 22,000. Sorry, clear, set max var 22,000. Right. Go to your do file. Right. This is the one that you had updated. Run it, and I'll pause. And once it finishes running, it'll look like this. You can make sure that everything looks okay by checking that the observations are 21,409. Variable is 18,949. You don't have to see the rest of this, but I think the process saves the data, but just in case, I would just make sure that the labeled data are saved in the right location. I think you may have to save over it. It may not be necessary. I'm not sure right now, but either way, you'll end up with the raw data set. Alternatively, you can get the data in the codebook from here. It's an easier way to download it, but the data that you download from here is not labeled. So while this process is tedious, it has its advantages. And we're going to cut down this large data set to include just the variables we need for the course, which will make everything run faster. And the do file to use, which I did not update the name here for, right, is create class dataset. And what you will need to do again is like set max var. And you want to use or load that equals k file. And make sure that the path here is accurate. If not, what you can do is you can go to stata. Right? Then go to the raw data. And drag and drop here or here, it doesn't matter. But this sort of gives you the location of the data. And make sure you change the working directory where you'll store all of your lab files. And for me, I put it here, like users, PolU, Dropbox, regression website, / data. I like the lowercase convention. Renaming asterisk comma lower is going to make it so that all of these variables names are in lowercase and not uppercase. Some people prefer uppercase. Then we're going to keep just these variables for the course, so it's not so heavy. And into this location, I'm going to save a file called for_lab1, replace. And you should have in your location for lab1. I have all these other files because I ran other do files, but for you, you should be looking at this one. And that's the class data set that we'll be using. And I will see you in the first lab session.